Hi, Remarkables. Have you ever wondered, what am I supposed to be doing in life? Am I on the right track? What are my talents? I don't know. God, am I doing the right thing? Am I in the right job? Well, in today's video, I want to talk to you a little bit more about how to discover what your purpose is and what your talents are, how to determine if you're on the right path. But what if I told you that you already have all of those answers? And in today's video, I'm going to show you how. My goal is to help you pull these out of you, these answers out of you, so that you can go and start leaving a positive impact on the world. If you're new to my channel, my name is Ashley Tate, and you're watching The Social Life, the place where I share communication and marketing advice so that you can design a life and business on purpose. A few weeks ago, I was asked to speak to a region of California's student councils, which are comprised of high school students. And one of the things that I really wanted to get across to them was my philosophy on purpose, so that they could go out into the world and start living their lives on purpose instead of continually searching for that purpose. So in today's video, my plan is to really help you do exactly the same so that you can get out there and really start leading a life and business on purpose. The word purpose is often used as something that we are looking for, or something that is a higher calling for our lives or for our business. And I want to really debunk that myth by just sharing the sheer definition of purpose. The first definition is a noun, and it is the reason for doing something. The second definition for purpose is the intention or the objective as to why someone is doing something. And in neither of these statements do they say a higher calling. So I'm not really sure how we got to that definition of purpose and why we talk about it as if I'm searching for my purpose. Well, your purpose is already here. And when you live on purpose and you live with intention and you live with a reason for why you are doing the things that you're doing, you are literally living on purpose. So my goal is to help you determine how to find the right reason for your purpose, okay? Why you're doing something for that purpose. Now, some people will mix this up with passion, some people will mix this up with fulfillment, some people mix this up with vision. But I just want to go through a couple of definitions with you guys about what those things mean, so we can all be on the same page and be very clear about what we are focused on. So when it comes to passion, passion is something that you have an intense feeling, like almost uncontrollable emotion towards. This is something that is like, I love this so much. And many of us are lucky to also have our purpose aligned with a passion. When that happens, we are lucky to be able to live on purpose in that passion, okay? But that doesn't happen very often. Most times you have a passion for, say, gardening, or you have a passion for reading, but maybe you're not going to make a career out of passion or reading. Some of us have a passion for talking about marketing and we can't stop talking about it. We're also lucky enough to have that passion aligned with our purpose in life. Now, when we talk about fulfillment is something that you can get from living on purpose. Fulfillment is something that you are consistently working towards on an exploration through life. Fulfillment is a combination of a lot of different things. The true definition of fulfillment, the achievement of something we desired, promised, or have basically fulfilled, like you are fulfilling a duty. That is the true definition of fulfillment. And so when we're talking about some of these words, I think they get mixed up into a much bigger idea than what they actually mean and how we should actually apply them to our lives. When I think of fulfillment, and I think most of us think of fulfillment in the way of feeling whole and feeling like we have everything we need. And that's just not really what the definition means. So what I think we are all really looking for is the idea that we are working towards our actual vision. And our vision is our true definition of success. Vision is the ability or wisdom to plan and think about the future. When you start to really think about some of the things that you want to do or that you want to become, or if you just have a vision of yourself in the future, that is having a vision, right, of your life. And this to me is the key piece of being able to really live on purpose. Now, in this case, wisdom is the operative word. So you have to have the wisdom and the knowledge of yourself and what you really want and how you actually define success in order for yourself to really be able to live on purpose and create a path to get from point A to point B, which is your definition of success and ultimately your vision of your life. When we're looking at life, we want to think about life as an exploration of self. We are becoming whatever it is that is your final destination or your final definition of success. And that definition of success will change. But each time you look into your vision, sometimes you will say, yep, that's still where I want to go. And other times you'll say, you know what, I don't really think that that's where I want to go anymore. I want to go somewhere else. I think I actually have a different vision of success. And the only way you'll get that vision of success is by being able to sit back, take in all of the information that you have and all of the information that you're working with, your situation, your education, your passions, your strengths, all of those things. You have to take all of those into account to figure out if that vision of success still suits you at this point in time. Now, I will tell you that years ago, I had a vision of success of getting married. That was my vision. I wanted to get married. I wanted to have children. And that was my whole goal in life. That's what I wanted to do. And I was 17 years old when I felt that way. And I wanted to go and marry. I had someone that I wanted to marry. I wanted to have children. I wanted to do the whole thing. And I thought I'm going to go to school during that time and I'm going to have my kids. I'm going to do all these things. My mom actually helped me realize like, hey, you can do that, but you have to go get a skill. You have got to go get a skill and then you can do whatever you'd like. So I was like, what's the fastest way to get a skill? And that fastest way to get a skill was to go to the military. So I went to the military. And when I got to the military, it completely changed my definition of success. It completely changed my vision for life because I was able to see other things that were contributing to the evolution of myself, right? So changing that vision of success then altered the course of my purpose, right? It changed how I was going to live on purpose because it changed my plans. So when you think of purpose, here are 3 things I want you to keep in mind. The first thing is when you're looking for your purpose, think of it more as looking for your strength and combining your strength along with the available opportunities that are there for you and work towards that opportunity with the vision of success in mind so that then you can combine the two and work towards your ultimate definition of success, your vision. Now, when you have this vision in your mind, realize that yes, it might change in a few years, but for the most part, your vision of success stays pretty constant and it is pretty much the one constant that you have in your life. But when opportunities arise and they show up, you need to understand how to ask yourself, does this opportunity get me closer to my definition of success? Does this work in alignment with my strengths? If it does, take it. If the opportunity that you currently have is closing or it's not working any longer, take this new opportunity and move forward. What I feel that people are focused too much on is trying to find that ultimate purpose of who they are and working on that piece alone, trying to find and kind of fit themselves into, take a square peg and put it in a square, round hole? A round peg and push it into a square hole or something, or round, whatever. Oh my God, whatever it is. Basically, you're trying to fit into the idea of something. And when you understand that purpose is truly living on purpose with an intent and an objective and achieving a specific goal and a vision, then you are not looking any longer for the ultimate purpose, because the purpose is what you do every day to get to that vision. It's not like magically you're going to decide like, oh, I'm supposed to be a gardener and that is your purpose. That's not really how purpose works. Purpose is the journey that gets you to your final destination. And we all go through different things, and that's why I find this to be so baffling, why we even talk about finding your purpose or what do you think your purpose is. Those things just aren't realistic. We don't have maybe one purpose in life. Maybe you have a dozen purposes that you use as an intent to get to your final destination, your final definition of success. My second tip is to learn from everything that you do. Everything that you do has a purpose. That purpose is getting you closer and closer to your definition of success. And that definition of success is carved out for you, right? And it's never going to sway too much from your overall vision of who you are, your definition of success, but it will dictate how you make decisions and how you're going to approach situations and opportunities depending on that definition of success and what your current purpose is. And lastly, no matter what you're doing, work towards your vision on purpose. Everything you do should be with an intent or an objective to get you closer to that definition of success. Every single thing you do. There should be nothing that you're doing on either a day-to-day basis, because those things add up, or in big decision moments that are not focused on getting you to that final definition of success. So as an example, it would be someone asking you, hey, can you join my board? Can you be part of this? Well, does that board or does that thing that you're joining, that organization, does that get you closer to your definition of success? Well, if you're trying to build a big business and this has access to other business owners or your customer or your target audience, then absolutely get on the board. If it brings you closer to your definition of success, then do it. That's how you know that you're living on purpose. Now, I know some of you will say, well, I'm not sure if I'm making the right decision. And here's my answer to you. If you are making a decision that you feel is getting you closer to your definition of success, and it requires a skill or some extra class or some sort of some more education or anything like that, then yes, do it. Because you have already thought about the intent and the objective behind what you are doing. And if the answer is yes, then you need to take the leap of faith and take that opportunity and go for it. So I guess my point is that instead of looking for your overall purpose in life, because there really isn't an overall purpose, the purpose of doing is your purpose, okay? I want you to stop looking for your purpose and I want you to start searching for your vision. Because that definition of success, start defining that. That is what's most important in your life. That definition of success is more important than any other piece of your life. If you don't have a definition of success or a vision of where you're trying to go, you will be going aimlessly through life, not having a plan or a path that you need to take to achieve that fulfillment of that vision. Passion is something that you have on the side. It's something that if you're lucky enough and it's aligned with your purpose, aligned with your strength, then that's fantastic and you get to have a very passionate filled job. And sometimes those things will change. Passion doesn't have to be aligned specifically on purpose with whatever job or whatever you're doing at the moment. So if you'd like help in creating your strategic vision for life and business, you can sign up for the Academy, where I offer weekly group coaching for all of my students to be able to create that vision for your life and business, and then a plan around that vision so that you can achieve fulfillment. Now, if you don't think you're ready for the Academy, also you can download my free workbook on how to design your life and business. And I think it's one of the best places to start, just really thinking about where you want to go and how you'll get there, and creating that life and business that you actually want. So I'll leave you with this. Purpose is the means to achieve your overall vision of success, no matter what it is. 1, does it work off of my strengths? And 2, If I do this, does it get me closer to my vision? If the answers are yes, then move forward. If the answers are no, don't do it, because you're already living on purpose at that moment, and maybe you don't need a change. But if an opportunity comes up and you're wondering if you should take this opportunity over another, ask those 2 questions so that you can figure out if this is the right path for you and your life. So Remarkables, that's all I have for today. Thank you so much for being here, and I want you to get out there and unleash something amazing, and I will see you here next week. Thank you so much for watching. Bye, guys.